Clean, fresh sound.
Rise and shine. Let's get ready to take on the day. Activated Mornings on WEFM 99.9 is on now.
And the time is now 7:46 here, and we're back with Activated Mornings this morning. Let's see, Release corrected you there.
She says it's cattle boil,
It's cattle boil.
not cattle boil. Cattle.
Say everything she said.
I honestly grew up with it
She
being
She said our generation. She said
was mine because
Christal,
you didn't even know
you're-
about it. It's true. It changes your generation too.
But
So with
we are
release,
that
it's-
far removed.
Okay,
So
still
we're in the same
a few.
generation.
No, we're not. So with Releaser, it was cattle. With us, with me, it's cattle. With you, you just can't remember it. You just don't know it. It's just boiled.
It's boiled.
Right? But I always thought it was cattle. It's like when I was in my teenage years, I always hear people refer to hers as husk, right? So my cousin at the time, she had asked me how you spell the word, and I told her HUSK because I honestly thought that the coffin was a husk, like a husky dog. I didn't know it was hers because people never used to pronounce the words properly around me. So, and I guess I never stumbled upon it in my readings at that time. So I'm like, whatever. Husk,
It's
hers.
stay. Stay is what I was trying to remember.
Stay on the eye.
Mm-hmm.
But that's some of the worst things to experience. Boy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I used to have it happen to me in primary school. That wasn't nice at all. At all. And I think in like Form 1 and 2, it wasn't nice. It's not a nice feeling at all. But before we get into
Styles.
this
Nah.
this topic this
camera's
morning, I
frozen.
wanna read some comments from the previous live where Joshua said no margin of error in dealing with the people's business. Where else were mistakes made? Which was the same thing you were saying.
I drop off this one. So fixing back up the place.
Oh, my bad.
Margin of error. I got frozen and then I dropped off on the live. We're live on WEFM 99 SVG on Facebook and YouTube, by the way, so you can hop over. Come on over. What's the time? 7:48.
Yeah, it's 7:48 now. But yeah, I do wholeheartedly agree with that. You can't be making mistakes when dealing with it
People
should be there
money.
now.
Should be there now. Oh,
Okay.
a call is coming through. Want to take it? Let's
Yeah,
take
yeah,
it.
let's take it.
Hello, good morning. Hello, is it
Hello?
me? Hello,
Yeah.
good morning.
Good morning. This is Kamisha's Nana.
Sorry?
Marva.
You're calling live on WFM, right?
Hold on. Hello?
Hi, you are live on the radio.
Okay, I was trying to get onto the preschool.
Oh no,
Okay.
wrong number.
Wrong number,
ma'am.
wrong number.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Okay, bye-bye.
All right, you have a good day, okay? Kabisha Nana.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye
But yeah,
bye.
that's what I was saying. There's some things you just can't make mistakes in.
You can make this kind of mistake though. Call the wrong number. Ah!
But yeah, there's a story on Searchlight. It's on their website and more than likely in the e-paper, which is government to create. Oh, this ad thing won't get out of my way. Government to create more permanent jobs, and it seems to be the budget in a more positive light. So we're gonna get into it.
All right, more money to be spent. Let's go.
In the year 2024, the government is moving to create more permanent jobs. This was outlined by Finance Minister Camilo Gonzalez on Monday, January 8th, as he presented the 2024 Appropriation Bill, Budget 2024, in the temporary Parliament bill in Glen. He said that this year's budget allocates a record amount of money to a record number of projects. The budget will be presented. The budget being presented is one of a country on the right track, Gonzalez declared. Monday's presentation was, well, that's not important. This is the budget of a country with a growing economy and an existing record of tangible gains to benefit our people, and a growing confidence in our collective capacity to implement our forward-looking and transformative agenda, said Gonzalez, who is also Minister of Economic Planning. He said that the budget 2024 was crafted against a backdrop of international volatility, high inflation, a global region that is still regaining its footing in the wake of the COVID pandemic. The minister said that the International Monetary Fund, the IMF, is projecting a mere 2.9 global growth in 2024, which is below the figures for the past 2 years. According to the minister, the United Nations has stated that we are entering a state of polycrisis as a result of global challenges. However, he pointed out that within the OECS and CARICOM, most countries were not as fortunate as St. Vincent and the Grenadines in surpassing pre-COVID levels of production. Minister Gonzalez said the Economic Commission for Latin America and the Caribbean, ECLAC, projects that the economies of the Caribbean, excluding Guyana, will grow by 2.6% this year. However, Gonzalez said that this year the economy of St. Vincent and the Grenadines is expected to outperform both CARICOM and ECLAC projections. Both organizations expect St. Vincent and the Grenadines to experience growth between 5 and 5.5% this year. Having rebounded from the COVID pandemic, Minister Gonzalez said the growth in SVG's economy last year and projected growth this year is real significant and helping to drive the development transformation that is taking place in our country. He said that the present growth is part of the plan of Ralph Gonzalez's administration to create a modern, competitive, post-colonial economy that is local, global, and regional. There's a quote there where he says, "We have a plan and we are sticking to our plan, and our plan is working for the benefit of all Vincentians." So what do you think? Do you think that we should just trust them to take the wheel, or do you think that
Trust them to take the wheel? I think the Vincentian population did that on election day in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they won the general elections of that year. So at this point, I'm not even gonna answer that. Trust them to take the wheel.
I don't even
That's their responsibility to take the wheel. That's why they are getting paid and getting the perks and the gray hairs for what they're supposed to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
So they just have to do it. Sometimes we're just not gonna like what they're doing.
So that is my question. Do we just, as Vincentians, sit back and watch the government drive this car? Or do we like tap them on the shoulder and say, "Hey, I think you're making the wrong turn there"?
That is where the opposition comes in.
We have
to
a call
hold them
coming in.
accountable, right? Just because. Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning. Good morning. Hey, here,
Morning.
listening to you, sounding very excited about our budget and what's not. And as I listen to all those who are making comments, so far, the budget debate is not yet over. But sometimes I think we're missing the real issues or what we should be concerned about.
Which is?
Vincent and the Grenadines is not a rich place. Sometimes I wonder what brings in our revenue. Because if we do not have a productive sector in terms of our export market, what can you tell me St. Vincent and Grenadines is exporting like in previous years to bring in much needed revenue? Do you know how we get revenue in this country? Through what means or source? A politician, one of those politicians said some time ago, St. Vincent and Grenadines can't mine itself. And I agree with that. We can't mine ourselves when it comes to what we need. We have to depend on handouts, just like how we, or those of us living in the country, have to depend on handouts. Listen to when the government talk about revenue or how they get certain monetary contributions, however you want to look at it. It's by borrowing, it's by grants, and you have all the different words that they use. Where is St. Vincent and the Grenadines, or what is St. Vincent and the Grenadines' most productive sector? That's the question we need to answer.
Tourism.
Our greatest resource is our people. And maybe that's the reason why we have to pay all this amount of taxes for this and that and so on. But when you have nobody, when those people who you're taxing can't pay no more taxes, what's going to happen to the country? So where our economy is concerned, somebody convince me, please, not necessarily you and Ari, but convince me about what is our productive sector that we can rely on and depend on, like when we used to have green gold or bananas, which was that was our last best economic performance when we used to ship our bananas away and get valuable foreign exchange and so on. That's something to think about. Thank you.
All right,
thank you.
What is the most valuable sector?
What I do believe, and someone said this to me recently, is that our main focus should be on ecotourism. Reason being, or at least in my opinion, the reason being is we've seen, while the government has a number of, and Rolisa asked yesterday, what are important developments have we made? And there's education. What else is there? Off the top of your head, it's really education that comes first, and then the rest, infrastructure.
People may not like to hear this, but we have had a bit of improvements within healthcare. Yeah, nobody wants to hear that.
Yeah,
I'm trying not to
cricket
cough.
saw that was.
I'm
But
trying not to cough.
we have also seen projects that cost a lot of money go belly up. Cross country road, the geothermal project, whatever became of is it still? What's going on with that?
The mass tents in Roseau have also failed. But that geothermal project is not as big of a failure as some people believe, because we didn't spend as much money as we could have on it. I think it was just over 600,000 US. As opposed to other projects where all the money was coming from us. Some of the money came from like grants and so on. So it's not as bad as people make it seem. It's just unfortunate that it didn't work out. Boy, there's so many things like to touch on. It's just a minute before we have to take a break in that segment there. But I mean, going back to the original story of more permanent jobs, I don't think it was like explicitly stated in the article like where these jobs are going to come from or what type of jobs they were going to be. And when you say permanent jobs, is it like long-term permanent, or I mean contractual permanent, if you understand what I'm saying? But the top of the story, I mean, most of the story speaks about the economic growth. Right?
It doesn't tell you.
So are they alluding to, because of the increased economic growth that's coming, then we are obviously going to have more permanent jobs? Or are they saying because of the projects that we have on stream and coming on stream, then we're going to see more permanent jobs in the future?
My question is, who is alluding this? Is it the journalist, the editor, or is it the government? Because the headline, to me, doesn't really align with the story. The headline in relation to the story is more
Right.
suggestive than anything else.
Government moving to create more permanent jobs. And it
Mhm.
says this year, 2024, the government will be moving to create more permanent jobs in SVG.
Mhm.
This was outlined by Finance Minister Camilo Gonçalves on Monday as he presented the 2024 appropriation bill.
Mhm.
He also said this year's budget allocates a record amount of money to a record number of projects.
Do you think that's it? The record number of projects means more jobs?
Obviously, if you have a project coming on stream, they're gonna have more jobs. Who are the jobs going to?
That's
Hopefully, the jobs are
is the
going
question.
to people who don't already have jobs.
Hey, even outside of that, are the jobs going to Vincent Chance?
Some of the jobs going to. No, nothing wrong with 1 or 2 jobs going to foreigners. By the
Yeah,
way,
nothing wrong.
because
But
there are
then,
Vince's working in other countries too.
but then when
So-
most of the jobs go into foreigners, then
Which-
we have a problem.
Which project has most of the jobs going to foreigners? Hard to tell. Honestly.
I would like to believe the one happening on the Leeward side has a large number of foreigners down there.
Renew?
The one in Bokumen there.
Santos.
There's a large number of Latino present.
Buenos dias todo el mundo. Spanish folks.
But yeah, we'll
But
get into this.
they're in the construction phase,
Mhm.
long term.
But yeah, so no,
'Cause there
that
were
is
calls. There were
that-
calls for employment. the
that's
other day.
one phase of it, the construction, and then we've seen a number of foreign, and there are I think a number of Lucians as well down there. But that's just one phase. So we don't know what the actual employment is going to look like. Like we've heard that they're going to, what was the number? 900, 800?
The number in some past
Yeah,
article
something
that
like-
I believe either Adams or Gonçalves had stated.
Yeah.
I want to believe more so Gonçalves stated that figure sometime last year, but that's another point that should be made.
Yeah.
Foreigners versus locals in these projects. Anyways.
Yeah, but we'll get into it. The time is now 8:03 here in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and your time check was brought to you by New Haven Funeral Home.
Death is a fact of life.